Hello, today I'm going to demo the Santa Monica 311 application. It's more of a generic citizen service application. So let's go ahead and get started. You'll see it in the upper left-hand corner. I can just click on the icon like any app to open it up. And it immediately connects to the instance. The instance connection is built into the app, so you don't have to configure it like you would a typical ServiceNow app and tell it which instance to connect to. So it is a branded app on the App Store, and like I said, it's already mapped to the instance that you need to map it to. You'll see there's some featured articles on the home page on the bottom two. Next round of art recovery projects. If I open that one up, you can see that this is curated content that's stored in the ServiceNow tables. So it pulls this down, and you can update that in ServiceNow and pull those updates down. You can also go back in history and see some recent news. So there's a couple different articles, a couple different places where we're managing curated content from the city. There's also some FAQs, which are a little different. These are more like knowledge articles. And there's one topic in there, just services, and we can go into coronavirus and look at some of the FAQs that are posted on the Santa Monica website. And then finally, the last piece, if we go back to the home, is going to be maps. So this shows all of the open requests in Santa Monica at this time. So if I click on one of the requests, it'll pull up the description. This is a palms found request. There's another one up here for graffiti removal, another one up for leaf blower violation. And so all of the different requests that have been submitted and are active will show up on here. Going back to the home page, the next thing I could do, if I wanted to, I could manage my profile on here. When you install the app, it'll ask you to set up a profile. And I did put information in the profile, and it'll use that profile in my form. And so we'll take a look at that later, where if I didn't have a profile, it would prompt me for some fields. But if you do fill in the profile, it'll autofill that for you on the profile part. All right. And the last piece is to request something. If I go to request something, you'll see that there's basically it's a service portfolio in here. And what that means is there's a top level category. In this case, you'll see services in the blue. If I scroll down a little bit, you'll see another category is programs, and another category of services is getting around. Underneath each of the categories is services. So you'll see street sweeping as a service, requests and maintenance is another service. But then underneath each of the services, there's service offerings. For example, underneath requests and maintenance, we have graffiti removal, which is what I'm going to show you today on how we submit a request for graffiti removal. Now, there's 64 of these out of the box, and we did some really great things to make parts of these request offerings, the graffiti removal, to make them common. So when I pull up graffiti removal, there's certain things you'll see in here that are standard, and there's certain things that are certain things that are standard and certain things that are specific to graffiti removal. So I'm going to go ahead and take a picture now. And this is the standard part of a request is usually associated with a picture for these types of requests. I'll go ahead and save that image. That image is now attached to the case. So now what I have to do is I have to find a location. So I'll do 1017 10th Street. I can also type this in with the keyboard. It works really good if I do voice, but it does require a Santa Monica location. So let's go to a Santa Monica location, and I'm going to use that location. Okay, so now we have graffiti removal, and I will go ahead and say found this earlier today. If I could spell, found this earlier today. Earlier. And then you can see it pulls my name out of my profile, so I don't have to fill any of that out. And once I'm done with all that, I can go ahead and close down my keyboard, and then I will be able to go ahead and submit that. All right, I get a case number, and now my case is registered in the system, and I will be able to go back. And if I go back to my home page, I will be able to see that I do have open requests in here as well. So I'll be able to click on the bottom next to the home button, and I could see the request that I have open. I can open that request up, and I can get a current status on it and see where it's working. And that's a quick high level. There's some other things down the road that we're planning for this application, such as payments. There is somebody manning the 311 line, so there is a direct dial in there for that as well. But that's the first release of the 311 application for the city of Santa Monica. Thank you very much.